The 100 in the Hands bringen endlich neues Material an den Start. Nach dem ersten Album, das den Namen der Band trug, bringt das New Yorker Elektropop-Duo nun das zweite Album mit dem Namen Red Night heraus. Die Platte entstand in kompletter Eigenregie.
We did it 100% at home. We made a little studio, which we called Loose Heads, and it's a very tiny box, and we no windows. So I think the record ended up being much darker, and the tempo is a lot slower than the last record.
Auf der ersten Platte ließen sich The 100 in the Hands von ihren Lieblingskünstlern inspirieren. Dieses Mal banden Eleanor und Jason ihre ganz eigenen Ideen auf die Scheiben.
The first record, I think that we were pulling a lot more from our favorite records and things like that. It was kind of a way of learning how to write together because neither of us had ever written with a partner, let alone each other. So every song we kind of treated as like its own little universe, and we would go and figure out what song referenced it. And along with that, we were kind of excited by super clean production. And so when we got it 80% of the way, we figured out what producers would best fit each of those little universes, and we took it there. And this time we wanted to make an album that was more of a whole universe in itself. And so we just kind of went into it and let ourselves stay there.
Dass die beiden dabei nicht immer einer Meinung waren, das verwundert wohl niemanden, der die beiden auch abseits der Bühne kennt. Immerhin sind sie nicht nur musikalisch ein Paar, sondern auch privat.
You know, we're a couple as well as a band, and all couples go through downsides. We've both been on either side. You know, we're both very combative when we're writing, and we write and record at the same time. We both write lyrics, we both write music, we both work on the production. So we've both been on either the side of fighting for something and then finally convincing the other that they're right. So we know that we should stick to our guns, but we also know that we've eventually realized that we were wrong. So you just never know which side of the battle you're on.
Herausgekommen ist dabei im Vergleich zum Debütalbum eine eher düstere Platte, in der es sich thematisch um etwas dreht, was wohl jeder schon einmal durchgemacht hat.
So when we first started writing the record, there was just something kind of dark hanging around us, and I had written something on our zine about how Gerard and I used to busk, play in the same subway stations years ago, and so I wrote about how going down the steps, I always loved hearing his guitar coming up because he was such a beautiful guitar player, and I kind of got into the idea of if sound was still reverberating in the tunnels, you could kind of get back to your past, get back to things you've lost. And also the idea that if you could tune in between radio stations into the empty stations, you could almost punch into the other world. So there's like this dark thing hanging around us, and I think it's because there was something going on with us and we didn't know how to talk about it yet. And once we did and things got better, like the first thing that came out was Led in the Light, which is kind of like getting back out from a long, dark place. And so getting from that point of empty stations to Led in the Light, that became the theme of the record. That became what we were dealing with. It's like a long night trying to get back to someone you love.
Red Night liegt beim Plattenhändler um die Ecke für euch bereit. Live verschlägt es The 100 in the Hands auch bald wieder nach Deutschland.